If you follow me at all, you kind of know that one, I am very maniacal about going all in any business venture. I don't believe in just dipping your toe in and, kind of testing the waters. If we're going to go, we need to go all in. And I see a lot of you are not really all in. You're treating your Airbnb or short term rental investments as kind of a side hustle or even just as like a vacation spot, a lifestyle asset, but you really need the revenue. You need the income to be generated, one, to either pay for itself or two, to be profitable. There's a lot of you that want to get out of your W 2s. You're building for retirement. You're filling 529s, 401ks, whatever that is. And so I'm going to kind of share with you today the tools and the things that I have put into place to be able to move well above the 90th percentile. I would say that I'm in the top half of 1%, or the top, quarter of 1% at the very top on what I'm doing from revenue generation and maximizing every penny coming out of my short-term rentals. So, and some of you may not want that. A lot of you might be looking for the easy button, and that's 100% cool too, right? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to tell you what I'm using for 6 critical components in this space. And then if you're not following the path that I am, or you're not wanting to do what I do, I'm going to give you kind of the easy button for those as well. So I want to start with property management systems. And here's one of the fundamental mistakes a lot of you make. So I'll give you an example. STR Wealth Conference. I'm the founder of that. I've got Michael Shogren as my partner. He's a guesty guy. I'm an owner res guy. And like most of his community uses guesty. Most of my community uses owner res because he's a guesty guy and I'm an owner res guy. That is not the right decision on how you pick a property management system. One, you need to know if you're looking for your first property, you don't want to jump on owner res or guesty. It's way too big. It's way too complicated, in my opinion, if you plan on only having 1 or 2 or 3. If you're going to do 1 or 2 or 3, hands down, the best option is Future Stay. If you haven't heard of Future Stay before, it is the easy button for PMSs. It has built-in revenue management, so you don't have to go and pay additional money for revenue management. It has direct integration with Google Vacation Rentals. So if you're planning on being small, like just maybe 3, 4 properties or less, or you're looking for your first property, boop, easy button is Future Stay. And the cool thing, Phil Kennard, the owner, he's actually, for you listeners and watching on YouTube, just go to futurestay.com/bill. And before the end of April, so futurestay.com/bill, and get a really sweet discount on Future Stay. So the second part of that is marketing, right? So number 2 is market. You've got to know how to market. And so a big component of this is direct booking. We starts with listing optimization. So I use RankBreeze for my listing optimization. I've been a client of them forever. I'll pop a link down here if you want to check it. RankBreeze. That tells me where I'm comparing to all of my competitors and my comps. I also use, the market dashboard and Price Labs for a lot of my research as well, like when I'm running my super grader and that type of stuff. But the marketing side is more than just listing optimization, so that's your photo order, that's your titles. That's one of the most important things, is filling out every character in your Airbnb and Vrbo listing, right? So a lot of you will just, put in photos and, say, oh, here's the family room. Well, tell me everything that I see or how I'm going to use that. Max out every character under every photo. So the second part about marketing is off-platform marketing. And why do we do that? Because a lot of you want to make direct bookings. So I'm using Facebook buy sell trade groups in the top 5 markets that my top 5 markets that my guests are traveling from. So as an example, in Gulf Shores, Alabama, it's Dallas, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Chicago, Nashville. Those are my top 5 markets. So I'm running buy sell trade group posts into 10 to 20 groups per city, and I rotate every single week. And then I follow that up with $1 a day Facebook ads into those markets. So if I'm running Dallas this week, right, Facebook ads, and I'll post into the buy sell trade group the week after. So I'm, getting some brand recognition, and then I'm following in and hopefully get the conversions out of the buy sell trade groups. So where do I send them? This is a big mistake that a lot of you guys do, is you send them to your direct booking site only. Well, what you need is the trust agent. The trust agent is Airbnb and Vrbo. So anytime I'm posting in like a buy sell trade group or any social media post, or I'm sending out emails to my past guests, I'm always including Airbnb, Vrbo, and then it says, want to save the Airbnb and Vrbo fees, book direct, and then my book direct link. So like, especially when you're posting these groups, there's always these Karens out there that come in, don't click on somebody's link, don't book direct, it's scams. And you have those people. So it creates fear in people that are out there. So you want to have the trust agents, Airbnb and Verbo. So as we're talking about marketing, let's talk about direct booking. There's a lot of bullshit things that happen in the direct booking space. And I owned a marketing agency for a decade, and I built over 1,600 websites. And one of the things that I did is I never owned anything, right? So I'm not charging you to host. That's BS. You can literally host, and especially if you're built in WordPress or Elementor inside of WordPress, whatever it is, you don't need to pay somebody to host your crap, right? That's how they host you. That's how they hold you hostage when you want to leave. You also don't need to spend $3,000 to $5,000 for a website. So once again, the easy button for this, believe it or not, is Future Stay. Future Stay is literally, it integrates directly with Airbnb, and you can pull all the information out of Airbnb. It's like, even if you go and you go to a website developer, you got to write the information, you got to give them your photos, all that type of stuff. You don't have to do that with Future Stay. You just sync it. And like Phil Kennard did at my Inner Circle, one of my Inner Circle in-person meetings for about 150 people last year, did it in 4 minutes and 38 seconds, start to finish, like legit. Chris, that works for me, just did my entire portfolio, upgraded everything in 18 minutes, like 27 properties with microsites built. So like all my Banner Elk properties, the Banner Elk experience is here. All my Whitefish properties on its own microsite page. It's just super easy. It's the easy button for direct bookings, and it is directly integrated with Google Vacation Rentals. So you think about it, Future Stay, PMS. If you would just want it for direct bookings, like I don't use Future Stay as a PMS. I just use it for my direct bookings. And here's why. One, because it's fast, simple, easy. And number two, it has the highest conversion rate. So I do take a lot of the Future Stay stuff and then I embed it into Market My STR because I'm using Market My STR for marketing. If you just want the easiest and highest converting direct booking website, then just go to futurestay.com/bill and you'll be able to get that deal for Future Stay. You don't need to use all the PMS features. In 5 minutes, you'll have a great direct booking site. Now, if you want all the marketing tools behind it, where I do my email funnels, I do my text messaging, I do my voice drops. If you're a co-host and you need a CRM and tagging and all that type of stuff, then that is Market My STR. You want to build custom microsites. You want to build sites for all your co-hosting clients, all that type of stuff. You want to have the control to do the live chat widget, which is a huge deal. So that's why I take the Future Stay direct booking widget and I put it inside of my Market My STR pages. And then every single person is directly integrated with Owner Res. So everybody that books, information flows directly into my CRM. Emails go out, text messages go out, voicemails go out. That's why I do 41% direct bookings. So buy, sell, trade groups, $1 a day Facebook ads, email funnels, text, voice drops, Market My STR, Future Stay easy button. You got two options with Future Stay. You can either go the advanced route with me and integrate with Market My STR, or you can take the easy button route and literally 4 minutes have the website up, integrate with Google Vacation Rentals, and you're good to go. The next thing is management and revenue management, I should say. A lot of you think that revenue management, and there's kind of one step, right? So step number one, revenue management, is that you go from just doing manual pricing to, turning on, I don't even know what it's called because I've never used it, is the whatever the revenue thing is inside of Airbnb. Don't use that because that's just going to lower your price and optimize for, volume. So you need Price Labs, you need Beyond Pricing, you need, what's the other one? Wheelhouse. Beyond Price Labs or Wheelhouse. I'm a Price Labs user. I'll drop a link to Price Labs down in here if you need it. But just another benefit, if you're going to be on that small side, just get the all-in-one with Future Stay because they already have dynamic pricing inside of it. So I use Price Labs. Revenue management is not just setting it up one time and setting up your rule sets for like a low, medium, and a high price, and then putting in 2-night minimums. It's maximizing super far out, like over 150 days or 200 days. And that's where you look at length of stay combined with what you're charging, what your ADR is going to be. And then you look at how do you max out in the short term. And so like one of my processes is, it's Tuesday when I'm recording this. I just got done with an Inner Circle in-person meeting, but even on Sunday, as we're taking breaks, before we started, I implemented and I moved every property for the next 2 weeks, every property in my portfolio from 2 and 3 night minimums, and we're just coming out of spring break season, to 1 night minimums Sunday through Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I move them all to 1 night. So that's for this week and the following week. I also start lowering pricing. So I use market dashboard inside of Price Labs. I'm running at least 8 comps. So I know where their pricing is. And I look at this every single week, but I'm going in manually and doing like a 3% rate reduction at 7 a.m. on Sunday. Then I come back and we took break for lunch at the Inner Circle Boot Camp. And then I go in and I think I got one booking. And then I go in and I do a 2% rate drop. And I do the auto sync. So that way it goes into effect immediately, pushes out to Airbnb and Verbo. And boom, I have another. I think I got 3 bookings between then and like 6 or 7 o'clock that night. And I did another push that night just to try to get those done. Now, a lot of you are afraid. Oh my God, I have a super property and I don't want to have a one night booking. Why not? But here's the thing. Most people are not booking our properties, especially in vacation rental markets. It'd be a little bit different in urban markets with like condos in downtown Nashville or Dallas or Philadelphia or whatever. But if you're in a vacation rental market, people aren't going to drive to your location for a one night stay unless they're already there and they have an issue. And that's fine. And I do get some one night stays, but the majority end up being 2 or 3 nights. So Emil Sekel at Pricing by Mira, who I believe is the #1 revenue manager, who is about ready to take over my entire portfolio. He's been managing 2 properties for me in the Outer Banks that combined are going to do $1.1 million in revenue. Think about that. When I bought these for my partner, Zach, and I underwrote them at about 800. He's going to do $300,000 more this year. We have, probably 75% of our summer booked between 35, 45, I think even $51,000 a week. And one of the things that a lot of people make a mistake is with your LOS, your length of stay. So if you're watching this now and you have availability for the summer, which May, June, July, August, even into September, most of you make the mistake of having too long of a length of stay. Nobody should have 7-night minimums unless you're in a place like the Outer Banks. We have the #1 and #2 6-bedroom, 6-bath beachfront properties in that market. We were able to command 7 nights, but we've actually switched to 3 nights already. And we actually can increase the pricing. So when you have longer length of stay, you're at the set price, and let's say it's $1,000 a night, but if you drop down and you still have a high demand property to 3 nights, you typically can do a 20 or 30% increase. So now you're maximizing your revenue and your profit, but you got to do these things manually, folks, if you really want to ascend to the top. If you want the easy button, just go to pricingbyMira, MIRA.com, and hire Emil to do it for you. He's typically doing a 20 to 30% increase over what you are doing right now. There is no question. He is hands down the #1 revenue manager in the entire country, but he's only got limited spaces. You can't do that for 1,000 properties. But that's what I'm doing. So I'm taking a couple of those slots. I'm moving my entire portfolio over to him because, he's been in my mastermind as an OG for 5 years, and he's learned a lot from me. But I'll give you the Star Wars reference. If you know the little Padawan, and then they become like a junior Jedi, and then they become a Jedi, and then all of a sudden they pass Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what's happened. Emil is better at revenue management. So it's not worth my time anymore when I can just pay him to make me more money. It makes absolutely no sense. So SOPs, this is another one. A lot of you don't have standard operating procedures. What happens when a guest complains and at what severity, especially if you're using like any type of VAs to manage your properties, manage guest communication, cleaner vacation, you've got to have Ps. A lot of people are using Notion, and a lot of these, different tools. I use Trello. I'm kind of old school, and I use Trello because of how it works on this. It is simple, easy, color-coded boxes that you get to move like cards, right? So if something doesn't get done, I can move it over. If it's in a different stage, I can move it from like red, yellow, green. You can create your own system, and it's super easy to use on a phone. So Trello, which is an app and, kind of a project management tool, it's super easy. Breezeway, for communication with SOPs, and, if you don't want to go down the Trello, you want something specific, I'd highly recommend Breezeway. And for those of you that are out there, I wasn't going to mention safety, but I would really go through the Breezeway safety class if you have not. I think then that kind of goes back even to the marketing, the hosting standpoint, the SOP standpoint. You can manage cleaners and maintenance and records and all that type of stuff in Breezeway. I absolutely love it. But one of the things that's super important to me is the marketing and making more money, not over safety. I love Justin Ford, and I've had him see my own properties personally and stuff like that. But take that seal, and I don't see enough of you promoting safety in your properties, right? And that can be a competitive advantage for you because nobody's doing that. Number 3 is accounting. Man, if you're not familiar with Baselane is something that was introduced to me a few weeks ago, and I immediately put them into an Inner Circle weekly coaching call. One, they have free banking. no cost, and you can do as many accounts as you want. And they're paying 3.35% interest, which is very challenging for most of you to be able to find. But two, they also have free bookkeeping, and they're getting ready to launch. And I got to see this AI bookkeeping, because a lot of us don't do it because we got to sit down and then we got to go through the classes and then we got to put everything in and then we got to reconcile. Well, they're the easy button. They're like the future stay, right, for bookkeeping on the back end. So I would check out the link down below and definitely check out Baselane for your accounting. Way easier than QuickBooks or Stessa or any of that other stuff, especially there. And it's free. All of this is free. I think it's going to be like $15 a month, maybe $20 a month for all your properties, not per property, once they have that AI feature if you want that. But if you don't want to use that, it's free. It's awesome. It's super, super easy. The last one is taxes. And the biggest piece of advice that I'm going to give to you is, like, we just had our inner circle boot camp. Ryan Bakey has been in my mastermind for 4 years. Ryan saved me somewhere between $3.5 to $4 million over the 4 years that I've known him in taxes. A lot of you just have a regular CPA that is not an expert in the short-term rental loophole. So obviously I'm a big fan of Ryan's. He saved me a lot of money. He's benefited my mastermind members, my community. He's just incredible. And he has some low-cost programs to be able to get your taxes filed. And the other thing is he's actually auditing previous tax returns for people and saving like $8,000 on average. Think about that. You go back and look at your 23, 22, 21s, he's actually making you money. So you need a tax specific CPA. Ryan's a mastermind member. He's helped me. He's on my super team, all that type of stuff. That's great. There's also other options. I mean, Brandon Hall is a great CPA. David Perez is a great CPA, but you really need a real estate tax consultant that is an investor as opposed to a regular CPA. You're not going to be able to take full advantage of the taxes. My go-to is Ryan. He is absolutely amazing. So we talked about PMSs, we talked about revenue management, marketing, SOPs, accounting, and taxes. Those are the things that you need to nail. Now, if you really want to get to that very top level, there's two things that you need to focus on: revenue management and marketing. Sure, there's things, great design, great staging, all that type of stuff, Andrew Keller-esque, high quality photos. Don't just walk in and have bad lighting and take photos with your iPhone. That's going to hold you back. It's going to impact your rankings. It's going to impact your conversion. Then you're not going to be able to charge as much, right? So kind of walk through these things. And what I would recommend is that you grade yourself from 1 to 10, and I'm a 10 at revenue management and marketing. I suck. I'm a 1 at accounting. So that's why I have my wife and other people doing that as well. Some other things that I think are super important: if you're looking like to get a virtual assistant bookkeeper for marketing or for SOPs or whatever, strsuperva.com. strsuperva.com. John and Jesse own that company. They're brothers from the Philippines. They do incredible work. If you're looking for taxes, I'd reach out to Ryan Bakey. He's got some really affordable programs. If you're looking for marketing, that's Market My STR. If you're looking for direct booking, Market My STR and Future Stay combined for the advanced. Or if you're the beginner PMS, you're looking for 1 or 2 or 3 properties. You're looking for the easy button for direct bookings, futurestay.com/bill to be able to save that 40% on my deal. But that's only valid till the end of April. And then PMS, Future Stay for the beginners, 0 to 1, 2, 3 properties. And if you're looking to scale big, then that's owner res. And I'll make sure that we have all the links drop down in here for you as well. If I've missed something or you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'm more than happy to answer your questions personally. Most importantly, don't forget to smash that subscribe button if I've created even a little bit of value for you. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.